Introducing the all-new BYD Sea Lion 7, the luxury electric SUV that's changing the game. Book your free test drive today at the BYD showroom in Sheffield.
Dr. Steelhammer, Vladimir Klitschko, and Dr. Iron Fist, Vitaly Klitschko, Shannon the Cannon Brigg, and Butterbean, Cruiserweight King Jai Opetaia.
Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Mr. Andy Lee just weighed in Ben Whitaker. Thankfully, Ben wasn't in that suit, because for a second I thought he'd come in that suit.
Right. Yeah, he's not in the suit. That's a friend of his. Yeah. And he did a good job, didn't he?
He did. Ben Whitaker, we'll jump straight into it, Andy, because you haven't got a lot of time. I want to ask you, one of the first things I want to ask you is Ben Whitaker, the personality, the person, forget the boxer, because a lot's made about him. There's a lot of assumptions about him that I know personally that are false. So you tell me, what's he like as a person when he came to your gym, and obviously the last 5-6 months that you've got to know him?
Before we started training, he came to the gym twice. And just to give you an example of what type of person he is, the first time was just me and him in the gym. Second time he came when Joseph was in camp. Or also Paddy there was Jared Hughes, Jim Donovan, a couple of others, and he just mixed right in with all the guys. He had fun with all of them. And what I'm saying, there's no ego. I'm not sure if he does himself any favour with how he presents himself, but he knows that's what sells. And he knows it winds people up, and knows people are going to tune in to see him fight. But away from all that, he's one of the most respectful, humble, nice people you'll meet.
What do you think about his talent? A lot's made about his ability. You've obviously got to see it firsthand, putting him in with some tough sparring, etc. How good is this kid?
He's he can do it all, really. Very, very talented. And if he can just replicate a fraction of what he's been doing in sparring, he'll be good enough to win tomorrow night.
What did you make of the first fight when you watched it back? You must have obviously seen it, and also what did you think of it on the night?
He came out trying to prove a point, it looked like to me, and he fought a fight that he hadn't trained for, in terms of punching hard, too often, and getting involved with Cameron. And just a lack of structure and discipline, really. He can do it all, this guy, really can. And his talents, he's so good. But that's no good unless you know how to use it, when to use it. And that's what I'm trying to do with him. So the first fight was a good fight. And what happened, but it's built this great rematch, and people are really interested to see who wants to win. And not that he'll prove a lot of people wrong. I think people know how good he is, and they'll see how good he is. They're kind of, I don't know. Oh, I'd like to see people get on his side and get behind him, because what you've got here is a talent who can go all the way to the world title, and that should be celebrated.
I definitely agree with that. I don't know if you can give us a bit of an insight into, because a lot of people, when you speak to him about Ben, they have this assumption that he goes into the gym, he decides what he's going to do, he decides when he's going to turn up, a bit like that Floyd Mayweather effect. I know you personally, and I know you wouldn't stand for that kind of shit, so you tell us firsthand.
I know what he just does, like everybody else. He does what they have to do. And as I said, to be a head coach, you have to be the captain of the ship. And you steer the ship and you make all the decisions. And the fighter has to, row in and listen and follow commands. But yeah, that's the way it is. It's just, I train him, I tell him what to do. He does it to the best of his ability. And he would never be a situation. He's come to me for a reason. Whatever it was in his past, he's come to me for a reason. And like any of these fighters that end up training with me, they're looking for something else. And it's, that's the way it is. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what the answer is, but he's very, very good. There's no ego when he comes in the door. His ego's left at the door. And to have an ego is not a bad thing as well. When you're in that ring, you have to believe in yourself. You have to have confidence, and you have to have a little bit of swagger. And there has to be some improvisation. You can't just train all that out of a fighter either. You can give them the basics and then let them flourish. Like anything, if to learn the essence, to reach the essence of anything, you have to know the fundamentals of it first and foremost. So that's what we do.
The level of scrutiny that will be on you now personally, because when you land big jobs, you've obviously got HAMZAH, SHEERAZ coming your way, Ben Whitaker, got two other great fighters as well. A lot of scrutiny is going to be on you. Are you ready as a man person to deal with that level of scrutiny, whether it's good or bad? Because every good thing you do will be highlighted, but everything, even if it's small, you've seen how previously with Shane and Ben, when something goes wrong, everyone jumps on them.
It's the nature of sports today, isn't it? And the world today, it's fickle. One day you're the flavour of the month, the best. The next day has been and never was. So take it all with a pinch of salt, the good and the bad. And I don't foresee listen, all of these guys I'm very lucky to work with some of the most talented fighters in the world, and they will be well prepared and they will train hard. They'll be physically fit and technically astute, and they'll have a good game plan and strategy. So we're never going to be embarrassed in a fight. They're always going to do well and they're always going to fight well. So that's it. You know what I mean? You can't win everything. There are going to be losses and ups and downs, but we're going to aim and try to win everything.
Last couple for you before Ben shoots off. HAMZAH, SHEERAZ has come your way. You've got an incredible talent of fighters, and when I read a lot of the stuff people have been saying, they're saying, is Andy Lee now the go-to guy where all the top fighters are going to go to? It's obviously credit to you, the work you've done with Joe and Paddy Donovan, but tell me a little bit about HAMZAH, SHEERAZ. What do you expect? What can we expect to see from him under your tutelage?
I think it's like I said about the fickle nature of the world and being the flavour of the month. It's not that I'm the go-to guy. I'm doing the same training now I've been doing. I'm always improving and always getting better, but I'm still doing the same type of training I've always done. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah, I think SHEERAZ is a good fighter, and I know I can improve him, and I like him as a person. And I am blessed that I train or have some of the best guys have come to train with me. Very, very lucky, but it's all due to hard work. And I put in I don't put in as much work, but there's a lot of work involved in being a coach. And I'm fully invested in these guys. I want them to win as much as I wanted to win as a fighter.
This isn't a question, but just a statement. I love the way you kind of represented yourself in the Paddy Donovan aftermath. A lot of coaches could have screamed and shouted, but you got your point across professionally in a calm manner, and it was firm, but you got it out. And I think you said a lot about you that.
Well, that's what was needed in that situation, because it was anything could have been a spark to a powder keg in that arena. It was one of the most amazing, hostile, chaotic atmospheres I've ever experienced. And I knew Paddy could fight. I knew Paddy could provide that. But to do it in those circumstances where there's been insults and vile comments shouted at you as you walk to the ring, and knowing that your family are ringside and they're hearing this stuff too, to go up against all that and Paddy Donovan perform like he did, it's just amazing, really.
Handle his emotions.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, well, that's what was needed in the situation, but he's going to grow so much, and I think people saw what he's about and how good he's going to be, so I'm delighted. I'm delighted for Paddy. Joe's come on leaps and bounds. Now it's time to do it with Ben, and then it'll be time to do it with HAMZAH, and we're going to keep growing, getting better, and winning.
And beyond that, my friend, pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah,